Okay. So like we were talking about process. When process is created, there would be some state associated with it depending upon in what is the status of that process currently. Because there could be hundreds of processes or programs which are running in memory, which would be intuitively called as process. Correct. So like what happens is when your program is inactive. So first it becomes a job. Okay, when user decided to execute, say for example, ./a.out, he created here, it was dumped there. The file a.out or executable was created and it was dumped on the disk. Okay, it is stored on the disk, but there is no particular action taken after the executable is created. So when you start typing ./a.out on your shell prompt, ultimately it comes to know that okay, now yes, operating system needs to take some decision. So what operating system does, it sends message to the process manager. So it becomes hold. So it permits process manager and sends signal to memory manager. Okay, and then suddenly your process becomes suddenly your program, which was a job earlier, becomes a process. Now it is allocated memory, but whether it would be getting going running or not would be decided depending upon when the time is given to it. So it gets access of the CPU. Okay. Now like let me side by side show the thing on say for example my Linux shell 2. So let us give today's date. Okay, now we'll work with this code. Now ultimately, like I will be writing some code side by side. If you have your machine available with you, probably you can also try the same. Correct. Now what I'm going to do is I will write the code. So let us say /include stdio.h. Okay, and #include uni std.h because this contains call to fork. So let me write int main. Okay, now so if you recall, we saw that whenever a process is loaded, like when a program is loaded in memory and becomes a process, a PCB entry would be added for it. Process control block entry would be added for it. So we need to fetch data or we need to fetch particularly the PID. So when we are talking about say for example, accessing particularly the code, okay, by giving a call to the process. So let me write, let me take process. Okay, sorry. So like here we know that that process ID would be integer. So let me say process ID. But though we know that process ID is going to be integer, so but we have to take some different type for it, which is defined in UniSTD called as PIDT. So this is a process like when we talked about a fork system call in the previous session, we said that comparing to other functions, fork could be returning two values depending upon where exactly it is running, whether it is running in client or whether it is running in whether it is running in child or whether it is running on parent, other than a parent process. Correct. So we have to take this situation into consideration. That's why I'm using this standard type, which is associated with the process. Fine. So what I will do is I will write this, and then I will write process ID is equal to now I am giving call to the fork function. Okay, now even I have given this, so let me write this message hello/n, and I am using a particular function called getChar. Okay, and let us write return 0. Fine. So this simple code is written by us. Now, next thing that we are going to do is let us save this code. Let us try compiling this code. So let us create an executable for this. Sorry. Seems I made some mistake. I gave space, seems there. Yes, because there was a space associated here. Okay, that's why it gave an error. Now when I create this function, okay, when I create I created an executable right now. Fine. Now I have to execute this. So side by side, what I will do is I will create another terminal. I will open another terminal, which would be there for us to help. So let us see what is there in memory. Grep a.out. So there is nothing. Fine. So let me fire my a.out. Now right now this code is created. Executable is created. So now let me make it as a job. So while I type this and enter, initially it became job and then was loaded in memory. Now if I see in memory what is the case, so I can see that two processes are loaded in memory. Correct, and both of them was given access to the CPU. So if I really try to see ps-s grep a.out, so you can see that the state given let us not consider this because I wrote a.out in grep. That's why it is showing this thing to me. Otherwise, I need to only concentrate on these two entries. So I can see that there is a state associated s plus, and since they are waiting for me. They are waiting for me to do something here because we wrote getchar towards this terminal, correct? So we wrote getchar, so that's why it is waiting for my input. Now, if I go here and let me see what exactly s plus means. So through the man page, let us go below and let us try to see the s and plus meaning. Yeah. So it says interruptible sleep, waiting for an event to complete, as it is waiting for my input. Okay, it is waiting for my input because I asked I added one getchar function over there. Correct. So the reason being, like if I see the plus meaning is in the foreground process group. So that means it is waiting for my input. You can see from here rather. Correct, on this front. Okay, let me see why. Okay, I think I got disconnected from other machine. Sorry. So let me get connected. Please wait. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So like I was showing you this output rather. My screen probably is not visible. Is it visible to you all? My screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What it is showing you? A terminal or something
Yes,
else?
manual page for the process.
Okay. So I don't know why it is not showing me on other screen. That's why I thought it might not be visible to you people. Yeah. Okay. So so like our program was running and we sequentially we saw through the command like ps-s grep a.out, we could see that it is showing us these two entries. So we are not going to consider this entry at all because we wrote it with a dot out with grep. That's why it is showing that this a dot out also is memory. So we are not going to consider this because it was output for grep command. We are much interested in this. So the state that it is showing is s plus. So if I write man ps and then go below rather, so I can see that s is an interruptible sleep, waiting for an event to occur. That's what it is trying to, or waiting for an event to complete. That's what it is showing us. Similarly, like if I go below, like it is showing that plus means it is in foreground process group. Now foreground and background. Now see, while you are concentrating on this particular screen, side by side, suppose if you sometimes it may happen that you might be doing some other task too. So in some case, either you are only listening. Suppose if I'm only talking without sharing any screen, you may not be interested in seeing on the screen until unless I share the screen. Correct? You would be in listening mode. Now, when we are will be in listening mode, that means that process is running in background. Listening mode is running in background. Side by side, I might be doing my task. I might be doing my work in parallel. Correct. That's what is happening. If I try to see on the other terminal, my both the programs, like my executable got executed, and I can see that there are two entries of hello. So one was printed from the parent and one was printed from the child. Correct. Now, if I go back and see particularly like this one, this one, I can see that this is a parent and this is a child. Now, what exactly happened there? So my program is waiting for some action to be done. So if I now try to go back to my Windows screen and show you the part. Okay, this one. So we said it is running. It is ready. It is running and it is waiting for something. So IO requested or an interrupt occurred. So when I particularly press a character, some character, because in code we wrote getchar. Correct? We wrote getchar. That's why it is waiting for my input, and when it is satisfied, it will become ready. Now let me go back to my Linux screen particularly again, so that I can show you like if I fulfill, because see there are two instances running for a.out. Now if there are two instances running, ultimately what exactly it means? If two instances are running, if I fulfill input for one through the getchar, whatever the getchar that is given. Okay, here suppose if I press enter, now what you will assume? Is our execution done? So if I try to see at the other side, okay, and still suppose I fire this, it is still telling me that it is waiting for my input. Now which process is waiting here? Because if I try, if I do the same thing, like I can see that I was shown here this shell prompt. But if I try to press now a key, okay, now let me try to press a key so that it would be visible for you to see the part. Like I'm showing you my keyboard, correct? Visible?
Yes.
Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to press a key. Now I'm pressing that key, or let me press J for a while. This is J that I'm pressing. Now when I press J, has it printed there on the screen? You may not be able to see that because it is stuck now. My say cursor, is it blinking? No, that means it got the input. When I press enter now on my keyboard, you suddenly will see that it started blinking. Because what happened was the input for my process was ultimately given by the user, and that's why the process also got removed from memory. Correct, and that's how it would be working in some cases. Like it might be showing you the screen, okay, but it may or may not really tell you like from for which process it came out of it. So let us execute one more time the code. Okay. Now let us remember, like let us fire this. So 919 and 920 are two inputs. So if I provide input for one here, getchar, which one should get executed? One of them, correct? If I try to see this, which one got executed? 12919 got executed, and that's why it got terminated from there. And it is now waiting for my input. Correct. So if I try to see this, I can see that there is S. Now it is not in S plus mode. Earlier it was S plus. Can you remember? Can you recall that? Earlier it was S plus. Now it would be in S. Now it is in sleeping mode because it is not able to really find out whether user would be giving me input from screen or it is waiting for the shell command to occur. So when I press a character, it got stuck. Correct. And then it might have completed the execution depending upon what I added there. So I already added like enter key. I pressed enter key. That's why it came out of the loop. Correct. But now how we will remember or how will we see whether this is printed from parent or this is printed from child? How to see this? Okay, so let me add a function inside. So let me introduce a function to you. Note down this get PID. So this function tells us, like you can see return type. That's why I wrote this PID underscore T. Okay, return type to be this. So yeah. Okay, so this is a ultimately added information which we may not be interested at all right now. So we would be interested in what? Get PID returns the process ID of the calling process, whoever is calling now. Correct. So let us go back to our code. Sorry, our code was here only. So let me write Emacs 12.7 process. Now I will be writing from %d and then we are writing here get PID. Fine. So let us try to execute this. So what I'm doing, I'm giving call to this get PID function. Fine. From here by printing this. So I want to print hello, but I want to really see from which file from which process it got printed. Okay, so let us go back. Let us save this. Let us link. So we link the code. Now let us execute. Can you see it is displaying two different things? So one of them was from 18 and the other one was from 19. So if I press enter, if I execute this again, my PID is changing, correct? Because depending up now, okay, here you saw 18, 19, 24, 25, 27, 28. Suddenly you see 30, 29. Now who is parent and who is child here in such a case, if at all it is there? (29) is parent and this 30 looks to be child, correct? Now who was given chance here? So you might recall here when I pressed one enter with this case here, it showed me this, then it was waiting for my input for shell prompt. So now three processes. One is 13029, 13030 and my bash. Three processes were running. Who was given chance? So here it is waiting for my 30 to end or 29 to end. So now I can see that nothing got terminated from here. So what exactly happened there? Who got terminated? Correct. Now if I try to see state of my code, you can see that my child got terminated. That's why it entered into Z. But was it really the case? Because we could not see that part here. So when we saw this, both of them are there. Now if I see here, now you may say that both of them got removed. Earlier, one by one, they were removed. So if I execute again, like I'm introducing one concept here. Now see 70, 80, 70 and 71. We can see that both of them are created. One is child, one is parent. So this one definitely is a parent and this one is a child. So if I give input to one, Now I can see only one entry there. Other one was removed. 70 gone, 71 is waiting. Now if I press enter, again, as I pressed enter, it is not showing me that enter key press. So it took that enter character for that get char. I can see that both of them got removed. But surprisingly, with respect to this case and this case, you might have seen that it was only waiting for one character here. Correct? And now here it was waiting for two get chars because one was from my parent and one was from the child. Correct? So if I see this way, these two were the enter key press that I pressed, and then it showed me this shell prompt. Okay, what is the shell prompt that was there? So this is done by the process manager by making use of this particular mechanism, and which is called as scheduling. To whom the chance be given, which one should be permitted to get access to the CPU. And that's why you might have realized that the order also may not be intact. Every time you may not see parent is getting executed and then child. Sometimes you may see like child got first chance and then the parent was given. Now how to decide this? Who would be taking that decision? That decision would be taken by the process manager through the process, you can say process scheduler. Now the states can change. So this is like you can see that from new, it will, when it is calling new, that means it is creating a process ID and PCB. Now from new, it would be in ready mode, or new from new, it would be ready suspended. So like if first line itself is get character, so process is ready to execute, but like CPU is not given, or it is waiting for main memory. If memory is not given at all, so sometimes you may see you press a key, then your machine doesn't respond. Right? What may happen? Your process, there is some other process which is running in memory. That's why a chance was not given to your program. Correct? So it can happen 100 number of times, rather depending upon what the situation is. Fine.
So that also depends on every individual systems, right? Like,
Yeah, yes. From system to system, it would vary because what kernel you have, which process you have, that would be taken care of appropriately, accordingly. Okay, and what is the architecture too? Like if you have huge amount of memory, you may not be able, like your program or process may not be required to wait at all, because memory might be given to your program in the first instance only. Correct? So from machine to machine, definitely it would be dependent. Like now, when we say suppose it is in ready suspended mode, that means memory is not given. Okay, and then suddenly you see that it became ready. That means what? Process ready to run and waiting to be scheduled or dispatched. Sometimes it may be blocked, means waiting for an event to complete. That's what we saw that T. It was waiting for some event to occur. It was in sleeping mode, correct? Then blocked to block suspend, used to make available more memory to the ready process and or to the running process. Now, if you require more memory, then if it is not available, you would be sent, okay, can you please wait for a while? Kind of. Okay, again, like if you see that if it is blocked and if it is shifted to ready suspended, what exactly it means? Process waiting for event completion is over, but no main memory is currently available. So these combinations may occur at all time. From here again, ready to ready suspended adopted if that is only way to make available more memory to a high priority or currently running processes. So you are not sure how many processes would be running in memory at a time. Similarly, there could be some situations like this. You are in blocked suspended mode and you would be entering into blocked mode because this would be used to bring a high priority waiting process into memory. Now suppose you are standing in a queue. Suddenly you saw that somebody came, and that's why everybody started because of the influence of that particular individual. Concentration is not given mainly towards you. That because that was a high priority process. Okay, even from this case, suppose you were given time, but you are not completing your execution, and then ultimately, what are the memory that was given to you? Okay, that was not allocated. Like though it was told you would be getting this much amount of memory, but and you were asked, okay, wait for 5 minutes. Now think of this: when you call to a customer care, generally on customer care, you are told Like if you are not getting connected with the particular individual, then it says, okay, the waiting time is this much. Can somebody assure us like it would be the same, like after that time, definitely I'm going to get a call? It may or may not happen depending upon what the situation is there. Right? So even if we are given the time quantum for execution, amount of time for execution, but if memory is not available, what can we do? So either like you might not be given chance at all to execute the things. Correct? So like if I talk about Linux particularly, now let me show you though it would be difficult for me to show all the steps, sorry, all the states for a code, but at least I will try to show you few of them. Okay, so let me try doing this. Okay, now let me show you this. So I executed the code, correct? So let me see here what is the current status. So both of them are in with S plus, correct? So let us remove this a dot out for a while. So let us try to see where is a dot out. So these are the two things, correct? So we are having S plus for both of them, correct? Now what I'm doing is I'm pressing a particular key combination now, okay, which is Control Z. Now you can see that I'm showing you my keyboard. Is my keyboard visible? Now I'm pressing this Control, okay, and Z. I pressed Control Z. So both the processes, it is showing me that it is stopped. Correct. So if I go to this terminal and try to check it out now, can you see both the states to be T? Can you see that both the states are for both the processes T? Yes, please. Can you see that T?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what happened? Let us check man page because it will be only telling us what is happening at that side, what exactly this T means. Yeah. Now capital T stopped by job control signal. Can you see that? Because I pressed Control Z. That means what? I send that program in background. So foreground, which is executing currently. Now this is in background. I stopped the process completely. Now if I go back here, I'm not doing anything, though I am pressing some enter key there. But my a dot out is not touched at all because my a dot out is not in memory completely. Sorry. My a dot out is not in memory right now. It was moved back. And now it is waiting for bringing that process into foreground one. Now if I go here on this other terminal and if I write FG, this is bringing the process in foreground. What are the previous processes? So if I go back now this another terminal and if I try to check it now, what happened was suddenly my process became S plus, state became S plus. Can you see this? Correct? That means now they are now has the code got printed? Like has it printed anything here? No. Now I am executing that code. Correct. So I pressed enter key. Correct here. Now let me see what happened was one of the process is shown as Z plus. So that means zombie, and that was shown for my child process. This is a child process. Now we will see like what exactly the zombie actually means. So let us go back to man and let us try to see what exactly that Z means for us. Defunct means zombie process. Terminated, the process was terminated means its execution was done, but parent still is in memory, but not ripped by its parent. Means what? Parent, whenever parent gets terminated, child automatically is terminated depending upon the situation. So it's requirement that the parent process should clean everything. But if it is not done, then ultimately this case arises. So Z. Correct. So that's why it is waiting for my another input. So if I press enter now, it is showing me the shell. Correct. If I go here and check now the status again, can you see a dot out there? No. But then where my both the messages shown, whatever the process ID and hello, it was not shown here at all, because when I executed that, when I rather they were shown here. Okay. But when I stopped it by pressing Ctrl Z, I thought it should have been shown here too. No, they are the process also already got executed at that particular point of time. But when they were sent back in the signal, okay, so like think of this like a swapping from here to there, move from this location to that location. It was done that way. That's why we are saying it was stopped. And that's how the process diagram or process tree diagram can be seen here. Like this was for Linux. What it was? So it was in running mode. It was in running mode. So we started with 1. Okay, or rather, let us talk about this. We started with fork. We created the process. Okay, so it was ready to run in memory. Then we said, okay, Control Z. Something got printed. Then again it got returned to user. Now it is waiting for my inputs. So I inputted it, system call interrupt. So I pressed enter. Data I gave. Then it was again waiting. Now second thing, like I had the child got ripped. The child done the process, correct? So it is waiting for other process to finish. So that's why the child process entered into this zombie. Other process was asleep in memory. It was S plus only. Correct. Again it was swapped out, wake up, swap in, got again reschedule. Now it was given a chance to execute, and then suddenly we saw return, and that's what the execution got completed. Now this might be like the route in this graph might be followed differently depending upon what are contents of your processes, in what stage it would be going or not. I cannot show you all these states ultimately because few things would not be in our control. I cannot see in parallel, like whatever action I am carrying out would be shown in parallel directly. It may not happen that way. Correct. Why? Because like see, I'm doing that from my machine only. But if I can write a code which will take data from background and would be doing that whole processing, then it possibly may be done. Correct. So let us try to write some more programs with respect to this process management to get information. Fine. So let us try to do this. So let me write. We wrote one code, correct? Let me share my screen one more time. Okay, let us write. Let us go to this code. Now we wrote this code, correct? So let us change it. So we want to print, like we could see here that if it was printing from parent and it was printing from child by telling you this, correct? So let me write another code. Emacs 01 hash include stdio.h hash include unistd.h main. So you can say int main. Okay, int process ID, and let us try to get parent process ID also. Parent process ID. Now how will we get it? Let us do this. So process ID is equal to get PID. Now we are not creating any other process. We are only simply executing. You can say this executable. Parent process ID. So there is another function called get parent PID. Get PID and get PID. So this gives ID and this gives return process ID. So I will not say child that way, but let us see, like ultimately it is for child only. So let us printf process ID is %d. So we are writing process ID printf parent process ID is equal to %d. So let us write /n. Okay, and we'll write here return 0. Let us hope there is no error in the code. Let us check it one more time. Have we written everything quite right? Okay, so let me add here /n. Okay, now let us first check from other terminal. We'll check this one ps-s. So one of the process ID for bash is no, let us not take s -ejh grep bash. So I can see that one of them is 12067 and 12527. So we have two terminals there, correct? This first terminal and this is second terminal. So we have two terminals. So one of them is having process ID as 12607. So this was our first process which we created, correct? That's why it looks like this is the first process, and then this was the second process. So terminal that you opened. So if you write this ps dash ps, then you should see like the current bash that I'm firing this is 12527. So we should see that a.out should be from here. Okay, from this other terminal. So let us compile this code and generate executable. Okay, good. So we haven't got any error. So let us execute this. Now you can see parent process ID 12067. So that means the code got executed on this terminal, correct? And the process got created was 139.0. So if I try to check in memory a.out, so as the program got terminated because it printed these two values, it printed these two values or these two printf statements, it got terminated. So not available in memory. So let us keep that in memory so that yeah, we can check it out. So let me add here get char, simple get char function, so that it should wait for my input. Okay, so xc we executed. So let us write this only. So that out should be shown here, huh? Like along with this 12607, like the way that we see below bash there is ps in this case. Similarly, we should see like here we see now like below bash there is ps. So this was for current terminal. So we should see a.out somewhere here up below this. Right? So let us execute it. So we executed it, correct? So if I fire this command, now check out. Can you see this? See this one 14033, and that's what it is showing 14033. This we are executing this process. That means automatically one can say whenever we do write ./a dot out, ultimately bash must have fired fork to create this process. See, we say simply say, na, we executed our code, but what work that operating system should do for you when you write simply a dot out there, like when you wrote this a dot out and you press enter. Now there are multiple tasks involved. So we should create a memory space for that program, and then we should load that binary code or machine code in that particular process area or process address space, and then it should executed. So that means like how will the allocation would be done? Whenever you give whenever you execute a executable, your command shell all actually fired a fork call internally. That's why one can see that this process PID was given to this a dot out. Their whole code was loaded at the address space with this PID. PCB also got created for this case. Whole code was given this memory space, resources were given, then your program started executing, and then it displayed this output to you. Right? And when you are done, when you press enter, what happened was your a dot out was removed from memory. You can see it got cleaned. Your parent ripped it. This was the parent. This parent ripped means deleted, rather, kind of rip up everything. So it removed it from memory. And that's how the task was done. So you may say then why it is not terminating itself, because this was a continuously executed code that is getting in memory every time. When though we haven't terminated this. So if I press Control D from here, now I'm pressing, or if I'm writing exit, so my terminal got removed, correct? So if I see now that other 067 was not shown here, and only this is shown. So you may say it might occur at other places too. So let us write this bash. We can see that only one is running there. Correct. So whichever is getting ripped would be ultimately removed from memory. Secondly, let me write another code for you people to show you the kind of execution of this thing. Now what we did was we tried printing the code. So now can I get the data detailedly print? So whether I am from parent or whether I am from child, kind of thing, correct? So let us try to write the code. So I'm opening new terminal again. So this was now PTS2. If I try to see, so it gave PTS0. Now you can see that its primary code is process ID code is 14079. Correct. Now this is now for this process, for this terminal, this was the ID given. Fine. So let me, if I write here Emacs, sorry, let us first CP1207 process 01.c 1207 process 02.c Emacs 1207 process 02.c. Okay, so we'll make some modifications over here. Okay, so let me remove this whole thing. I'll be giving these programs to you, don't worry. Okay, so instead of this int, now as I'm going to make use of call to fork, that's why I'm writing this. Okay, now I'm not taking this at all. Okay, so let me declare one local variable here. Okay, 100. Now let me give call to fork. Fork is create a process. Now we know that if it is in parent, the fork system call returns PID, and if it is child, fork function call returns 0. Okay, so let us do this. So if we will write code that way, process ID is equal to 0. So that means what? We are in child, correct? So printf, I am the child process with process ID %d. So let me write here get PID. Fine. Okay. And now if it is not equal to 0. That means what? So let us write here else printf I am the parent process with process ID. Now we know what is the function to what is the function call to rather. Okay, I am the parent process with the process ID this for a child %d. So we know parent PID would be taken this way. Okay, and we'll write this child ID because parent process runs. That's what we wanted to see. Correct. So even like if I add similar kind of text here with process ID this with return value %d. So we'll write here to so that I can prove my statement or which was shown there with the man page that with the we will write it here too %d with return value %d. Fine. So I will explain that thing. Like what I am saying is like whenever you give call to a fork, when fork is in parent, the return value is child's PID, and whenever that fork is in child, it returns 0. That's what we want to see. So somewhere it probably it should show here 0. Let us see if we can get it. Okay, so now we'll print value of I later. Let us first check this one. So let us say return 0. Okay, return 0 is for this main. By the way, I'm not talking about this return for fork. So let us compile the code. Now we execute it. Okay, so let me add /n there so that it will look better. /n and /n. Let us execute it. Now it should not be surprise for you. Like what it is, what, sorry, let us execute it one more time. So I am the parent process with the process ID, this with return value this. I am the child process with process ID, this with return value 0. Okay, so let us. Okay, somebody is passing the comments. Yeah. Say get PID in second. Okay. Okay. Jayesh, wait for a while. Let me make some modification in my code by adding /n appropriately. I will add /n at both the places. Okay, when I'm in parent process, I'm using this get PPID, correct? And like in this second printf, I'm writing process ID only because process ID is a variable which is taking return value of fork. We're not writing get PID. So get PID is for child and get PPID for the parent, like whoever is the parent. So let us see what exactly it shows. And process ID, when it executes this statement in child, because when process ID is 0, then it should print this value to be 0. That's what, correct? But if it is in parent, then it should print this value because this statement should be executed in child. This statement should get executed in parent. That's what we are interested in showing this in. GCC execute. Okay, now we would not be able to verify whether what is the parent ID and what is the child ID, correct? So let us do one thing. Let us add getchar there here so as to see really in memory what happens. Fine. So let me compile and I'm executing the code. Correct. Now let us go back here and check a dot out. Now which is parent? 14449 and 14450. Oh, so it is showing me something 1407, and what exactly that means? Let us remove this. Sorry, let us write this EJH. Now see, 14079 is bash. Correct. So see, I'm a parent process with, now it executed because I wrote there get PPID. So its parent ID was printed and with a return value as, that means this is its child. So if I see here, this is the child number, correct? 14450. You can see that I am the parent process with process ID 14079, but it is not the actually process ID because we wrote get PPID there. Correct. So let me check out it. Let me make the modifications. So instead of PPID here, I will write PID only. Correct. Let me execute this code again. Let me do this. Now it should not be surprise for you to see the numbers. Okay, what are the numbers? 14517 for a dot out, which is a parent. Correct. Like see the layer structure. This is parent and this is child because it is shifted towards right. Through the process tree. So 14518. So I'm the parent process with process ID 14517 with the return value 14518. This was written by your fork system call. Fork system call when executed in parent returns process ID for a child, and when executed in child returns 0. Now let me show you where it is written. So let us go to this return value. So okay, let us read it. PS displays information and so on. Yeah, so it is showing us too many options. Okay, simple process selection by list, output format control, thread display, other information, notes, process flags, process code, and few other things, standard format. Okay, so I'm moving towards down part, so bottom part of it. So as to see where exactly the return values are. Yeah, environmental variables, personality, see also standard. Where can we, sorry, I should have written fork. Yeah, so now try to see where is the return value. Yeah, so on success, the PID of the child process is returned to the parent. Correct? That's what we could see there, the statement. And 0 is written in the child. Now suppose if it cannot create a process, then it should return you -1 with no child process created. Correct? That's what was shown to you here, like the way that we executed it. So in parent, when it was in parent, it got to know what is the child ID. And when it was in child, it says I do have return value to be 0. Yes, any question? Jayesh, like you were saying something. Can you please tell me what exactly it is? Jayesh, are you there? Jayesh? Okay, Sims is not there, or he may not be. Sims he may not be able to. Okay, let me attach these files for your reference, okay, which you can write simply the code. So process 1. Okay, try these 3 files at your end. Okay, and if you have any questions, you can ask me. So is it is clear now, Jayesh? Get PID and get PPID. PPID is for what? You can see here. So if I say Control C, so if I write man get PID, so this is for process identification, get PID, and if I write PPID, then it tells process ID only. Okay, both of them, but get PID returns process ID and returns parent ID of process, parent of the calling process. Correct? Yes, good. So any other question? If you have, let me know. Okay, no. So like brief say